their just due. I think that they are, a legendary group that paved the way for a lot of other groups and a lot of other musicians that that reap the benefits of the success of music today. So I mean, I was glad to be able to be there.
Yeah, we seen that clip of you using the audience just
Yes, I'm very supportive. Very supportive.
cheese. So, in addition to you and your wife both being in the music industry, your
Yeah,
kids are also in the music industry as well.
yeah.
Majority of them actually are singers and rappers.
Yep.
So even down to the baby, even Harry, we seeing her singing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know where they get it from. I mean, it's beautiful to really, man, just to see your child find their passion. I think a lot of us, it takes us a while. It takes some of us a while to actually find that thing that you do. You know, and to see, like, Eris at such a young age, she's already kind of found her thing. Whereas like Messiah, he's 22, and I think he's just now getting to the point where he's found his thing. Um, and I think King's still figuring it out, but I think that it's a blessing to be able to bear witness to them as they enter into you know the confident version of themselves.
Yes, definitely.
Do you think there's like competition in the house? You know, you and your wife already have set the bar so high for your kids. You
Mm.
think that they have their own competition like with y'all and between each other?
I don't think so. I mean, but don't get me wrong now. It's competition if, you know, if you place us in a situation where either you win or I win, then there could be competition, but not really. Not It's competition for them, but not me, because if I'm gonna lose to somebody, I'd rather it be my child. You know what I'm saying? Because even if they win, I win. You know what I'm saying? We are debaters. So I guess if that competition of someone kind of lists a fact or states a definition to something, or or says something that would have to be tethered to truth, um, we definitely go to the Google to fact check a lot of the stuff that's being said around the house. So I guess those are small competitions, you know. Um, but I mean, my family is very supportive, very close, you know, and I wouldn't trade being a father or a husband for that matter. You know what I mean? For anything else, that's the most important thing I think I have to do or that I have done.
Yes, definitely. So, what keeping it still in your family? We know you have a song with Damani,
Hmm.
Family Connect. Tell us about how that came about. Like, how was that being on a song with your son while it's being produced by your other son?
I think that okay, so that's kind of how the song came about, because we were listening to Messiah as he played some of his music that he produced, and when that track came on, I said, okay, I like this one, and I left, and then when I came back, Demani had already put a verse on there, as though like he was gonna beat me to it. So I went and I put a verse on there as well, and the song was born out of that moment. And it's my favorite song that I've done.
All right. What type of environment do you try to like make at home to like encourage, obviously you're a wonderful artist. What type of environment do you try to keep at home to keep the creative process going for not only you but like your family as well?
Man, to be honest with you, I try to offer information, because if you're gonna be a great songwriter, you have to have something to speak about. And if you don't know nothing, you ain't talking about nothing. So I try to offer like inspiration, information, um, and just exposure to different things that they could share in their music.
Have your like your life experience? You've been to jail. You've you've matured. You've been able to go into acting and film. Have like your life experiences changed the context of your music and what you want to speak about?
Yeah, I think so. I think because you know mindset is ever evolving. You know what I mean? As we meet new people, have new conversations, as we're sharing different perspectives than our own, or being exposed to different perspectives than our own. That kind of, it shifts, alters, and adjusts your mindset. And the songs that I made then were, perfect for its time. And now I think my mindset is kind of evolved just to a different place. I won't say better, worse, or for, for better or worse. It's present. It's a present mind state that I think has just as much um, relevance to the discussion as those songs did.
So, like, let's since we're talking about how you were then and how you are now,
Hmm.
let's take you back a little bit, okay? That's
Okay.
okay with y'all. So, Maya, where was you at in 2004?
I was 3 and I was at King Baptist preschool.
I wasn't at King
What?
Baptist. I was at somebody preschool, but that's when Mr. TIP was going live from the VIP.
Okay.
I was
Tell
Wow.
us
definitely in the back seat of my daddy car.
in
He
the
was bumping
backseat
it.
bumping it,
He
huh?
bumping it.
So tell us, how do you feel like your albums from 2004? What do they mean to you present day?
um, man, they it's a very important part of the journey. I think those albums, those experiences, those moments made these moments possible. And I appreciate being a part of other people's lives, and I think that's what makes music important. It's the soundtracks to our lives. So, just like you remember being in the back seat of your daddy car, that experience, it ain't gonna leave you. So those moments or those memories will make the music special to you for forever. So for people to include me in their lives, that's an honor, and it's humbling. So I mean, that's what it means to me.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, like, obviously you're the staple, the foundation of a lot of Atlanta trap music. So how does that feel when you meet artists who were inspired by your music, or you can hear certain sounds like, dang, I could tell they were inspired by my sound.
It's humbling, man. It's humbling, and I mean, just because think about it, right? Like, of all the things in the world that people could be inspired by, you know what I mean? Just my thoughts, experiences, and my words put to music is something that meant so much to others that it inspired them to do great things, and that's humbling. You know what I mean? Like, it could have went so many different ways, but this is it's definitely an honor.
So speaking of trap music in Atlanta, we know that you have your museum out there, the Trap Music Museum.
Hmm.
That our team was actually able to be able, when we were in Atlanta about 2 weeks ago. Your team provided us the opportunity to come and check it out and
Dope.
go to that Escape the Trap, that
Okay.
Escape the Trap escape
Did
room.
you make it?
We made it barely
Okay.
by this much, by this
Okay.
much. Man, so how do you feel? How did that process come about? What made you feel like trap music because there's different ways that it could be represented. So
Sure.
how did you decide that it should be represented in the state of a museum?
Well, I think so. First of all, it came at in the year at the time the thought came where trap music, the album, was approaching its 15th year anniversary. So we were thinking of ways to creatively celebrate and commemorate the 15th anniversary of trap music. And we didn't want to just do what everybody else has done, like a show, where you perform all the songs and so on and so forth. We were just trying to think of innovative ways, and someone in the room said, "Why don't we do a?" Oh, and no, it was also a moment in time where there were so many misconceptions and just so many other thoughts and opinions about where trap music originated from and who had, who was the first. And so and someone just said, "Yo, what about a museum?" And initially, as most great ideas, it sounded crazy. Like, we're gonna do a museum. And I just happened to have been acquiring commercial real estate at the time. So I had this building I had just bought, and I was walking around the building like, and in the back of my mind, I just kept hearing, "How about a museum?" And I'm like, "Yeah, maybe this could be a museum." And I just started reaching out, to artists and architects, and to see how we could configure an experience that was informative, um, inspirational, and educational, all the same, and celebrate all of the most significant contributors to the culture.
And it's very diverse and inclusive inside of the museum. Like,
Right
you
on.
have your section, then you have the legendary Pink Card, 2 Chainz, Pretty Girls Love Trap Music, but then you also have a section for the women in rap. You have a
Yeah.
section where you're honoring Nicki Minaj, Cardi B. I seen you added the well, you have the City Girls in there, then you
Right.
added Lotto's section in there. So
Right.
you're keeping it very up to date. And
Yeah.
then you also have in there, when you're walking through, I know you have it's like the sound booth, and it's
Yeah.
like how to break a track, how to create
Right.
a track. So in this process, were you, with, in addition to honoring trap music, were you also trying to like show people how to kind of, if this is their passion, how to kind of get on it?
I mean, I think, man, I wanted to provide example and experience. I think, and the booth that you're talking about is right. It's on the hall that celebrates mixtapes, DJs, and producers. And the best way to celebrate, or to acknowledge or honor producers and DJs on mixtapes is to, offer an opportunity to show how freestyles are done, or to show, how you can record, or how you can. So, people actually come in there and, what I'm saying, do their little freestyles and stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Jade Simone. We still here with Zone for the Sessions. We got our very special guest, Mr. Tip Harris, in the building. Live studio audience. How y'all feeling right now? Period. Period. I love that. I love that. So, Tip, have you been to other HBCUs like and experienced their student body?
Yeah, absolutely. Spent a lot of time in the AU in Atlanta, the AUC, and I actually had the pleasure of teaching a class at Clark, the business of trap music. Um, I did that, I believe, in 2020. I think 2020 or 2021. I forget.
How was that experience? Were you nervous being in a different, like this? It was you stepping out of your comfort zone in a way. I mean, you're very informative, but to be
Yeah,
actually teaching a class,
I mean, it just happened to be something I know very well. So, I found comfort and confidence in that. You know what I mean? If we were talking about splitting atoms or, neutrons and, what I'm saying? Like those, that kind of conversation, I might have been nervous.
Is that something you see like in the future? Being a teacher, going in education, or maybe even going back to school?
I don't know, man. I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule it out. I think for me, anytime I'm able to share knowledge that comes from my experiences, to impart wisdom or insight on anyone who it could benefit, I'm always, excited and trying to make myself available to do that. Whether that's at a school, whether that's in passing, at the airport, whether that's, just, sitting down and experiencing someone at the museum, wherever I can, share what I have. I try to do that because you must teach what's been taught.
definitely, definitely. Well, earlier this year we actually had your son Damani. He was here on campus.
What?
Yes,
That's fine.
back in February when he was on school, or when he was on tour for his skydive tour.
Right.
Yes, we had the opportunity to go down to Houston and get some footage of him at his concert with
Okay.
him and D Smoke. And
Right.
then the next day he actually came and sat on the same purple couch that you're sitting on
That's what's
right now.
happening.
So
Yeah.
how was that to have your son be on tour with someone who you had on your show?
I didn't really even think about it like that. It was definitely a proud moment when I got the call, that D Smoke were interested in taking the money on tour with him. It was just a proud moment for me as a father. But I didn't really connect the two. Like I didn't think about, I met D Smoke on my show, and now, but I think everything we do in life, it kind of creates the opportunity for the next thing we do in life. So,
Definitely. So, how do you establish that boundary with having your son in the music industry? But he makes it clear that he doesn't want to live off of his dad's name. Like he wants to be he wants to be known as Damani the artist, not Damani Ti's son.
right.
So, how do you provide your kids with guidance in the industry without being overbearing and letting them still make it on their own?
Well, I mean, first of all, I say this to the money all the time. No matter how much stuff you do on your own, you're never gonna not be Ti's son. So, good luck. But I understand where you're coming from, and I respect it. I respect his skill set. I respect his work ethic, and what I'm saying, I just let him do it however I let him do it his way. I think that's you never really get to offer, or you never know what you need to offer your child if you just kind of keep on making them do it the way you want them to do it. You got to give them, enough free range so you can say, all right, bring it back in. Listen, you know, you're doing it all wrong, but, and then if they can give me some logic, you know what I mean? Something that makes sense. No, I'm doing it like that because of this. Like, okay, continue. You know what I'm saying? But I think that freedom allows them the opportunity to make the mistakes that allow me the opportunity to find out what needs to be corrected or how to correct it.
All right. Kind of piggybacking off of that, is there any advice that you wish you had got when you were younger, or wish someone had told you that you think would be, useful for a college student to hear right by now?
Hmm. I think the best thing I've learned is just, follow your vision. You know what I mean? Believe in yourself. Don't wait on validation from others to substantiate what you already know. You know what I'm saying? If you have a vision, it's your vision for a reason. And usually the first thing we do when we get a vision is we go and tell somebody else about it. And if they don't see it or don't agree with it, most of us kind of like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't. And that's not the right thing to do because it's your vision for a reason.
All right, and you've interacted with like a lot of, what's the word for it? But just like important people like Nipsey Hussle, Denzel Washington. These are people that you've interacted with. Was there anything that anybody taught you in the industry that really like helped your career and just like helped you in general?
Man, a lot. I mean, man, how much time we got? I think well, you mentioned Denzel, and on the on the movie set, um on the movie set for American Gangster, we were about to do our scene, and I was pacing back and forth, just going over it in my head how I wanted to deliver it, and he kind of he pulled up on me and said, "Hey, you nervous?" I say, "Yeah, I guess." And so he's like, "Well, what you nervous for?" I say, "I don't, just don't want to mess it up." He says, "Hey man, they could have had anybody here. They could have got anybody they wanted to have here right now, right?" I say, "Yeah." And he say, "Well, they got you here for a reason, right?" I say, "Yeah." He said, "Do you know what that reason is?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, do that, and ain't no need in being nervous." And so I just kind of took that with me and applied it where necessary.
All right, so we're gonna cut to another commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna have a quick your most recent music and take a look at some of your music videos.
Okay, splendid.
What's up, y'all? We back to Zone Further Sessions with our very special guest, Mr. Tip Harris. So So, Tip, before the commercial break, you were talking a little bit about your role in American Gangster.
Yeah.
But we're gonna take it back to 752 Mandeville Lane. Let's take it back. Let's take it back to 2006.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you know about that?
What you know about? I know more about that than what you know about. Let's take it back to ATL.
Right.
ATL, y'all, make some noise for ATL. Like,
That's a hood classic. Hood
Thank
classic.
when I'm not even gonna lie to you, when they said you're gonna interview T.I., I'm like, I'm gonna interview Rashad. I'm not gonna interview T.I., I'm interviewing Rashad. What does that do you know? I can't even speak for nobody else. That movie, that's me.
Child.
And you couldn't tell
What?
me growing up, you couldn't tell me I wasn't from Atlanta. You couldn't tell me I wasn't a part of ATL. Like, what does that
What?
movie mean to you?
Man, it's an honor again to be a part of people's lives, to be welcomed into people's their evolution, and it's a special moment for all of our careers. And I think that it also had just an effect on the city itself. And it was really the beginning of an era because that's, after ATL, that's probably one of the first films of our time that was shot in Atlanta, about Atlanta, and it kind of encouraged Hollywood to, begin to shoot more movies. That and the tax incentives, but it was definitely like, it was ahead of its time.
Definitely. So I gotta ask you, because they've been saying through the grapevine that it's gonna be an ATL 2.
Right.
Now, before you even answer that, I just want to
Uh-huh.
say this. If y'all have not concluded production for that, sign me up. Sign me up right now. Like, when I tell you, you can't you can't tell me nothing about that movie. Give me a character right now. Like, anybody.
What?
I just feel like I can portray anybody. If Nunu and Rashad got a kid that's not really a kid no more, y'all need
Uh,
a babysitter for y'all kid or something.
what?
Sign me up.
You
Sign
could
me
just
up.
you could put me in the
Put me in
background.
there.
Just let me walk in the background. I could do that. You gotta
Hey.
have a role. Just let me walk back and forth. I could do that real good. I could eat in the Waffle House or something. Something.
What?
Put me in the movie.
Hey, be clear. This my daddy house. I've been running things here since I was 15. You just been getting old. Like, what? So ATL 2. Are we getting it?
I mean, so it could definitely happen. I mean, so the film has been, green lit by the studio and all, and we have a story, and all of the cast had, agreed that we were gonna do it, and while we were kind of connecting the dots and that, through the process, Nipsey passed, and that kind of, shifted Lauren's journey a little bit, and everybody's just kind of giving her time, you know what I mean, to transition back into Nunu, and I don't have a timetable on it. You dig? Um, but I think that's the status of it. It could be next year, it could be next week. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's
Well,
it's
just make sure whenever y'all do that, to just I'm gonna give you my contact information afterwards. Y'all just send me my script. Like, just let me know who y'all need me to audition for. Honestly.
right on.
So
But I
in addition to
appreciate it
that,
though.
we know that you just put out some new music. Trap still bumping.
Okay.
So tell us about that. What made you do? Because it's more of a country feel.
Yeah, man. Blanco Brown, who is one of the most successful country artists of today. He happens to we both from Bankhead, coincidentally. And he was working in my studio. He just asked me to do a record with him. And I heard it and it was, surprisingly jamming. Um and that record opened up the opportunity to do the next record and the next record. Before you knew it, we had 10 records. So now we're gonna put out a project, and this is the first installment. Trap still bumping.
All right. Final question for the day. We heard that you're working on your last album,
Yeah,
Kill the King.
Kill the King.
So When can we expect to see that album, and how's that process of working on your final album going?
Well, as far as a date, I don't like to put dates on my music, because I feel like that kind of rushes the process. If you set a date before you finish, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think it removes the opportunity to continue to find that special thing because you feel like you racing the clock. But I have hundreds of songs, and it's all about finding the right combination of songs that tell the story of the moment, the last story, and it's incredibly special to me. So I'm a just continue to take the necessary time, man, to make sure that to ensure greatness.
Well, it's been an honor interviewing you,
Thank you.
and
Thank you so much for coming to our
Appreciate it.
HBCU with your extraordinary vocabulary. I'm sure you don't say some words today that we're gonna go look up a little bit.
Indubitably.
we
Indubitably.
hope we were your favorite HBCU because we know you're gonna visit some others, but Prairie View is the best.
That's right.
Yes.
Definitely.
That's
You
a
might
Already.
come
fact.
here and
That's a
teach. You
fact.
might come here and teach a course.
I might. Yeah.
You might.
Yeah.
Well, you definitely gonna be back when ATL 2 premiere. He's gonna be back at PV because our movie's coming out.
You
Our movie,
did.
guys. Well, thank you so much, Tip,
Thank
for being
y'all.
here today. We
Thank
very
y'all.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
Well, that's all for this episode of Zone for the Sessions. We hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. Thank you.
Thanks.